I should have known something was wrong the moment my mother-in-law insisted on hosting a special family dinner on a Wednesday night. Valerie never does anything without a reason, and her voice had that sugary sweet tone that always means trouble. I'm Natalia, and I've learned to read between the lines when it comes to family dynamics. After 7 years of being married to Leonard, I thought I'd seen it all. The holiday drama, the passive-aggressive comments about grandchildren, the subtle competition between siblings. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened that night. The dining room was set with Valerie's best china, another red flag. My brother Leonard squeezed my hand under the table, a gesture that would make sense later. His wife, Erin, couldn't stop fidgeting with her napkin, her cheeks flushed pink with excitement. Before we start eating, Valerie announced, beaming at everyone around the table, Erin has some wonderful news to share. I lifted my wine glass, grateful for the Cabernet's familiar comfort. Erin stood up, practically bouncing on her toes. We wanted the family to be the first to know. She paused for dramatic effect. Craig and I are engaged. The wine glass froze halfway to my lips. Craig. My Craig. Well, not mine anymore, but the same Craig who had shared 3 years of my life before disappearing with nothing but a text message and a trail of lies. Isn't it wonderful? Valerie clapped her hands together. Craig is such a catch, so successful, so charming. I forced my face into what I hoped was a convincing smile. How did this happen? My voice sounded strange, even to my own ears. We've been dating for 6 months, Erin gushed. We met at that charity gala. You remember, the one you couldn't attend because you were sick? Oh, I remembered. I'd been sick because Leonard had warned me Craig might be there. Now I understood why. Show us the ring, Valerie demanded, and Erin thrust out her left hand. The diamond caught the light, throwing tiny rainbows across the white tablecloth. It was exactly the kind of ring Craig would choose. Flashy, expensive, designed to impress. Natalia, Leonard whispered. Are you okay? I took a long sip of wine. Of course, why wouldn't I be? Erin was still talking, describing the proposal in detail. And then he got down on one knee right there in the restaurant. Everyone was watching. Just like Craig, I said, my voice dripping with honey. Always knowing how to put on a show. The table went quiet. Erin's smile faltered slightly. What do you mean? She asked. I shrugged, stabbing a piece of roasted potato with my fork. Oh, you know Craig. He has a flair for the dramatic. It's part of his charm. Leonard kicked me under the table, but I ignored him. The thing about karma is that sometimes it needs a little nudge in the right direction. Did you two know each other before? Valerie asked, looking between Erin and me with sudden suspicion. We dated, I said simply, watching Craig's name hover in the air like smoke. A lifetime ago. Erin's face paled. He never mentioned, didn't he? How strange. I took another sip of wine. Pass the salt, please. The rest of dinner passed in a blur of forced conversation and awkward silences. As we gathered our coats to leave, Erin caught my arm. Natalia, I had no idea about you and Craig. If this makes you uncomfortable, don't be silly, I said, patting her hand. The past is the past. I just want you to be happy. But as I walked to my car, my cousin Seth fell into step beside me. You're planning something, he said. It wasn't a question. I don't know what you're talking about. That smile you had during dinner? That's the same smile you had before you put pink hair dye in my shampoo in 10th grade. I laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Some people never change, Seth, and some lessons need to be learned the hard way. Just be careful, he warned. This isn't like high school pranks. This is family. I watched Erin and Leonard drive away, their taillights disappearing into the darkness. Exactly, I whispered. This is family, and sometimes family needs to be protected from themselves. My phone buzzed with a text from my friend Alice. How did it go? I typed back quickly. Remember that karma we've been waiting for? I think it's finally showing up for dinner. He's doing the thing with the phone again. Alice said, sliding into the booth across from me at our usual coffee spot. You know, where he keeps it face down and jumps every time it buzzes? I stirred my latte absently. It had been 2 weeks since the engagement announcement, and I'd been collecting little pieces of information like breadcrumbs. How do you know? I was at the gym yesterday. Saw him with Erin. She kept trying to show him something on her phone, and he practically had a panic attack when she reached for his. Some things never change, I muttered, remembering how Craig used to do the same thing with me. Back then, I'd believed his excuses about work privacy and client confidentiality. Are you sure you want to do this? Alice leaned forward, her face serious. You could just tell Erin everything directly. Show her the old texts, the evidence from when you caught him. I shook my head. She wouldn't believe me. Craig's too good at spinning stories. He'd say I'm bitter, jealous, trying to ruin their happiness. No, she needs to see it for herself. My phone lit up with a text from Erin. Lunch tomorrow? Need your help with wedding stuff. Speaking of seeing things, I showed Alice the message. Looks like my dear sister-in-law wants wedding planning advice. That's awkward. That's perfect, I corrected. Craig always gets sloppy when he feels secure. The more I help with the wedding, the more chances he'll slip up. The next day, I met Erin at an upscale restaurant downtown. She had magazines spread across the table, sticky notes marking various pages. I'm so glad you came, she gushed. Craig says I'm overwhelming him with all the details, but I want everything to be perfect. Of course you do. I picked up a magazine. Oh, look at this venue. It reminds me of that place in the Bahamas Craig always talked about. Erin's fork paused halfway to her mouth. The Bahamas? You know, the resort where he always said he'd propose one day. He never took you there? No. She set down her fork. He proposed at La Maison. Ah. I flipped another page. Well, I suppose his tastes have changed. People do that. Her phone buzzed and Craig's name flashed on the screen. She reached for it, but not before I caught a glimpse of the message preview. Working late tonight, babe. Don't wait up. Everything okay? I asked innocently. Yes, just Craig. He's been working so many late nights lately. Some big project. I nodded sympathetically. Must be the same project that kept him working late 3 years ago. He's very dedicated to his work. Erin's face clouded slightly. What do you mean? Oh, nothing really, just remembering. Hey, have you thought about flowers? But I could see the seed of doubt had been planted. Throughout lunch, Erin checked her phone repeatedly, her responses becoming more distracted. As we were leaving, she suddenly grabbed my arm. Natalia, can I ask you something? About Craig? Of course. When you were together, was he always... did he what? She shook her head. Never mind. I'm being silly. Pre-wedding jitters, I guess. Erin, I said gently, you can always talk to me. About anything. That evening, I received a series of texts from Leonard. What are you doing? Erin's been asking weird questions about Craig. This isn't going to end well, I replied with a single message. Trust me. Just then, my phone lit up with a notification. Someone had tagged Craig in a photo at a bar downtown. Definitely not working late. In the background, a blonde woman was clearly visible, her hand on his arm. I screenshot it before he could untag himself and sent it to Alice. TikTok. Her response came immediately. Holy shit, are you going to show Erin? No need, I typed back. She follows him on social media. She'll see it herself. And when she does, she'll start looking closer. That's how it always starts. I put my phone down and walked to my window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. Some people might call what I was doing cruel, but sometimes kindness means letting someone discover the truth on their own. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back and let karma do its work. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Erin. Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? I need to ask you something important. I smiled as I typed my response. Of course. I'm always here for you. Leonard was waiting at my apartment when I got home from meeting Erin. His expression told me everything I needed to know. She's been crying, he said without preamble. Want to tell me why my wife spent 3 hours going through Craig's old Facebook photos last night? I hung up my coat. Maybe she's making a wedding slideshow. Don't. Leonard ran a hand through his hair. Don't do that thing where you pretend you're not involved. I know you, Nat. You're my sister. Exactly. I'm your sister. So why aren't you more concerned that your wife is marrying someone like Craig? Because it's not my decision to make. He paced my living room. And it's not yours either. I walked to my kitchen, pulling out 2 wine glasses. Did you know he's still seeing Rebecca? Leonard froze. What? Rebecca. The same woman he was seeing behind my back 3 years ago. She was at Murphy's bar last night, hanging all over him while Aaron thought he was working late. Shit. Leonard accepted the wine glass I offered. How do you know this? Because some things never change, Len. Same bars, same women, same lies. I pulled out my phone, showing him the tagged photo. He's not even trying to hide it anymore. Does Aaron know about Rebecca? She will. Eventually. I took a sip of wine. The question is, are you going to keep protecting Craig, or are you going to protect your wife? Leonard slumped onto my couch. It's not that simple. Actually, it is. Remember when I found out about Craig and Rebecca? Remember how I found out? Because nobody told me. Nobody warned me. I had to walk in on them myself. Nat. No, let me finish. Do you know what that feels like? To realize that everyone knew except you? To feel like the biggest fool in the world because you trusted someone who never deserved it? Leonard stared into his wine glass. Aaron asked me about Craig's past relationships today. What did you tell her? I said she should talk to you. I laughed without humor. Coward. What was I supposed to say? Hey, honey, your fiancé is a serial cheater who broke my sister's heart? Yes, exactly that. Our argument was interrupted by my phone buzzing. A text from Aaron. Found something weird in Craig's desk. Can you come over? I showed Leonard the message. Still think we should let her figure it out on her own? He stood up, grabbing his keys. I'm coming with you. 20 minutes later, we were sitting in Erin's kitchen. She had a shoebox on the table in front of her. I was looking for a stapler, she said, her voice shaky. But I found this instead. She opened the box, revealing a stack of photos and letters. What are they? Leonard asked, though I already knew. Memories, I said quietly. Craig keeps everything, every relationship, every conquest. It's like his personal trophy box. Aaron pulled out a photo. Me and Craig at the beach 3 years ago. Then another. Craig with a redhead I didn't recognize. Another with Rebecca. These are all recent, she whispered. Some from just months ago, while we were dating. Leonard reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Did you know? She asked him. About him and Natalia? About all of this? Aaron, did you know? The silence was answer enough. Aaron stood up abruptly, knocking over her chair. I need some air. I'll go with you, I offered, but she shook her head. No, I need to think. Alone. After she left, Leonard turned to me. Happy now? No, I said honestly. But at least she knows the truth. The truth? He gestured at the scattered photos. The truth is that you orchestrated this whole thing. You knew she'd find this box eventually. I didn't put these photos here, Leonard. I didn't make Craig cheat. I didn't make him lie. All I did was refuse to lie for him. My phone buzzed again. Alice checking in. I typed quickly, box of evidence found, stage 1 complete. What happens now? Leonard asked, staring at the damning collection of Craig's past. I started putting the photos back in the box. Now? Now we wait. Because the thing about truth is, once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. Erin's smart. She'll connect the dots. And Craig? I smiled grimly. Craig's about to learn that karma doesn't forget. It just waits for the right moment. As we left Erin's house, I noticed a familiar car parked down the street. Rebecca's red BMW. Some people really never learn. Valerie's annual summer garden party was in full swing, and I couldn't have planned it better myself. The backyard was filled with family, friends, and most importantly, witnesses. "You're looking particularly pleased with yourself," Seth commented, handing me a mojito. Should I be worried? I watched Craig working the crowd, his arm wrapped possessively around Erin's waist. "Just enjoying the party." "Right." Seth followed my gaze. "And the fact that Rebecca RSVP'd has nothing to do with your good mood?" "Did she?" I feigned surprise. "How interesting. I wonder if Craig knows his favorite client is coming." "Natalia?" Seth's warning was cut short by Valerie's excited squeal. "Rebecca! Darling, you made it." Craig's head snapped up so fast I thought he might get whiplash. Rebecca stood at the garden entrance, wearing a dress that left little to the imagination. More importantly, she was wearing the necklace, the one Craig had given her last Christmas, thinking I didn't know about it. "This should be fun," I murmured, taking a sip of my drink. Erin was already walking over to greet the new arrival, dragging a visibly uncomfortable Craig along. "You must be Rebecca. Craig's told me so much about your work together." Rebecca's smile was pure venom wrapped in honey. "Has he? How sweet. Though I'm sure he hasn't told you everything." I moved closer, not wanting to miss a word. Craig's face had taken on that slightly green tinge I remembered so well. "Babe," he said to Erin, "I should check on the grill." "But you're not cooking today," Erin replied, confused. "And I want to hear about your work with Rebecca." "You never talk about it." "Oh, we do much more than work," Rebecca purred, touching the necklace at her throat. "Don't we, Craig?" Alice appeared at my elbow. "Is that the necklace he bought while we were together? The one he said was for his mother?" "The very same." Erin's eyes locked onto the jewelry. I could almost see the wheels turning in her head, connecting it to the identical necklace box she'd found in Craig's trophy collection. "That's a beautiful necklace," she said slowly. "Where did you get it?" "It was a Christmas gift," Rebecca replied, "from someone very special." Craig's phone chose that moment to buzz loudly. He fumbled with it, but not before Erin caught a glimpse of the screen. Why is Rebecca's message showing a heart emoji next to her name? Erin's voice had gone deadly quiet. The party around us seemed to freeze. Even Valerie stopped mid-conversation to watch the drama unfold. "It's not—" "I can explain," Craig stammered. "Explain what?" Rebecca's voice carried across the suddenly silent garden. "Explain how you've been seeing me for the past year. Explain the weekend in Vegas last month when you said you were at a business conference." Erin took a step back, then another. Her face had gone completely white. "Vegas?" she whispered. "Last month?" "Erin, baby, she's lying." Craig reached for her, but she jerked away. "Don't touch me." She yanked off her engagement ring and threw it at his chest. "Don't you dare touch me." The ring bounced off his shirt and landed in the grass. Nobody moved to pick it up. "Erin, wait," Craig called as she pushed past him. But she was already running toward the house, Leonard close behind her. Rebecca laughed, a sharp, cruel sound. "Oops, was that supposed to be a secret?" Craig rounded on her. "You crazy bitch. What are you doing here?" "I was invited," she said sweetly, waving the invitation I'd sent her last week. "Unlike your other girlfriends. How many are we up to now, Craig?" The party erupted into chaos. Valerie was crying. Seth was holding back an enraged Leonard who'd returned from comforting Erin, and Craig was staring directly at me. "You," he snarled. "You did this." I raised my glass in a mock toast. "I just sent an invitation, Craig. You did everything else yourself." He started toward me, but Alice stepped between us. "I wouldn't," she warned, "unless you want everyone to see the rest of the evidence we have." Craig's face contorted with rage, but he knew he was beaten. Without another word, he stormed out of the party, leaving his reputation, his fiancée, and his carefully constructed lies behind. "Well," Seth said into the awkward silence. I guess the engagement party is canceled. I finished my mojito and set down the glass. I should go check on Aaron. Natalia. Seth caught my arm. Remind me never to get on your bad side. I smiled. Oh, this isn't my bad side. This is just karma doing its job, with a little help from its friends. I found Erin in Valerie's home office, hunched over a laptop with tears streaming down her face. I was so stupid, she said without looking up. So incredibly stupid. The screen showed Craig's Facebook messages dating back months. He hadn't even bothered to delete them. You weren't stupid, I said, sitting beside her. He's just very good at lying. Look at this. She clicked through message after message. Rebecca, Sarah, Amanda. Names and conversations scrolled by, each more damning than the last. He was messaging them all while sitting next to me on the couch. While planning our wedding, her phone buzzed again. Craig's 20th attempt to call in the past hour. She declined it without hesitation. He sent me 50 texts, she said, pulling up the messages. Baby, I can explain. It's not what you think. Rebecca's crazy. Please let me fix this. She laughed bitterly. How exactly does he plan to fix 3 different girlfriends? 4, I corrected gently. The brunette at his gym isn't in those messages. Amanda's friend Katie. Aaron's head snapped up. You knew? All of them? I've been keeping track. Old habits die hard when you've been cheated on. Why didn't you tell me directly? I closed the laptop. Would you have believed me? Really? She was quiet for a moment. No, I would have thought you were jealous. God, he told me you were probably still hung up on him, that you might try to cause trouble. Classic Craig, always getting ahead of the story. I found something else, Erin said, pulling out her phone. She opened Instagram and showed me a photo from 2 weeks ago. Craig at a restaurant with a woman cropped just out of frame. The reflection in the window shows it's Rebecca. He always did like that restaurant. Did he take you there too? I nodded. Same table even. By the window. He's not very original, is he? Erin wiped her eyes. Same restaurants, same lies, same necklace. Same ring, I added. She looked up sharply. What? I pulled out my phone, scrolling through old photos until I found it. 3 years ago. Notice anything familiar? Erin stared at the engagement ring on my finger in the photo, identical to the one she'd thrown at Craig earlier. That son of a bitch, she whispered. He didn't even bother getting a different ring. A knock at the door interrupted us. Leonard poked his head in. Craig's outside. He's demanding to talk to Erin. Tell him to go to hell, Erin snapped. I did. 3 times. He's not leaving. I stood up. I'll handle it. Natalia. Leonard's warning tone was back. Trust me. I found Craig pacing in the driveway, looking decidedly less polished than he had during the party. Where is she? He demanded. Gone. And if you're smart, you'll leave too. This is all your fault. He jabbed a finger at me. You planned this. You invited Rebecca. You turned Erin against me. Actually, I pulled out my phone. You did that all by yourself. Every message, every photo, every lie. That was all you, Craig. I just made sure the truth came out before Erin made the same mistake I did. You vindictive bitch. Careful, I warned, holding up my phone. I'm recording this conversation. Would you like me to add it to the evidence file I'm building? The one I'm considering sending to your boss? I'm sure he'd love to know how you've been using company time and resources to juggle your girlfriends. Craig's face went pale. You wouldn't. Try me. Now leave. Don't call Erin. Don't text her. Don't come near her. Consider this your only warning. Or what? I smiled. Or the next party I crash will be at your office. He stared at me for a long moment, then turned and stormed to his car. As he peeled out of the driveway, I took a screenshot of the recording and sent it to Alice with the caption, Insurance policy. Back inside, I found Erin still at the laptop, but now she was deleting photos. hundreds of them, every trace of Craig from her social media. Feel better? I asked. Getting there. She paused on a photo from their engagement dinner. You know what the worst part is? I actually thought I was special, that I was different from all the other girls. We all did. That's how he works. She closed the laptop with finality. Well, not anymore. I'm done being another trophy in his collection. My phone buzzed with a text from Alice. Is it wrong that I'm enjoying this? I typed back, not at all. The best revenge is letting karma do its job. Erin stood up, straightening her shoulders. I need a drink. A strong one. Now that, I said, linking my arm through hers, is the first step to recovery. He's dating someone new already, Erin announced, barging into my apartment without knocking. It had been 3 weeks since the garden party disaster. Of course he is, I said, closing my laptop. He can't stand being alone. Who is it? Some realtor named Jessica. They're all over each other on Instagram. Erin collapsed onto my couch. 3 weeks. It took him 3 weeks to replace me. He didn't replace you, I corrected. He's just following his pattern. Find someone new, love bomb them, then start the cycle all over again. Like he did with us? Exactly like he did with us. My phone lit up with a message from Rebecca. Thought you'd want to know. Craig's telling everyone Erin was crazy and jealous, playing the victim as usual. I showed Erin the message. She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Crazy and jealous? That's rich coming from a man who has a box full of ex-girlfriend trophies. Speaking of that box, I said carefully, what did you do with it? It's in my car. I was going to burn it, but... She hesitated. Some of those girls might want their stuff back. Their letters, their photos. That's surprisingly thoughtful of you. Well, we're all members of the same sad club, aren't we? She pulled out her phone. Look at this. Jessica posted a photo an hour ago. Same restaurant, same table by the window. Let me guess. He ordered the same wine, told the same jokes about the waiter? Probably promised her the same future, too. Erin's voice cracked slightly. God, I almost married him. A knock at the door interrupted us. Leonard stood there, looking uncomfortable. Craig's at the house, he said to Erin. He's packing up his stuff. What? Erin jumped up. No, I'm supposed to be there to supervise. That was the agreement. He brought Jessica with him, Leonard added grimly. Oh, that's just perfect. Erin grabbed her keys. He's probably trying to steal half my things and impress his new girlfriend at the same time. I'll come with you, I offered, already reaching for my coat. The drive to Erin's house was tense. When we arrived, Craig's car was in the driveway, along with a shiny BMW that must belong to Jessica. Ready? I asked Erin. She squared her shoulders. Ready. Inside, we found Craig and a tall blonde woman boxing up books in the living room. They both looked up when we entered. You're not supposed to be here alone, Erin said coldly. I'm not alone, Craig gestured to Jessica. And I'm just getting my things. That's my grandmother's vase, Erin snapped, snatching a wrapped object from one of the boxes. Oh, I thought that was mine. You thought wrong. Erin started going through the boxes. And this photo album? These are all my family photos. What were you planning to do with these? Jessica shifted uncomfortably. Craig said these were all his things. Craig says a lot of things, I commented. Most of them aren't true. Craig's face darkened. Stay out of this, Natalia. Or what? I pulled out my phone. Should I show Jessica the evidence file? The messages, the photos, the identical necklaces you buy for all your girlfriends? Jessica's head snapped toward Craig. What is she talking about? Nothing, Craig said quickly. They're just bitter. Crazy and jealous? Erin interrupted. Is that what you were going to say? Like you've been telling everyone? I have the text to prove it, I added helpfully. Would you like to see them, Jessica? I'm sure you'd find them interesting, especially the ones from 3 weeks ago. Jessica took a step away from Craig. 3 weeks ago, but we started dating 4 weeks ago? I finished for her. Funny how that timing works out. The color drained from Jessica's face. She grabbed her purse. I think I should go. Jess, wait. Craig reached for her, but she jerked away. Don't call me. She practically ran from the house. Craig rounded on us. Are you happy now? Can't stand to see me moving on? Moving on? Erin laughed. You never moved on, Craig. You just keep recycling the same lies with different women. Get out, I said quietly. Leave the boxes. We'll send your actual belongings to your office. This isn't over, he threatened. Actually, Leonard stepped forward. It is. Leave now, or I'm calling the police. After Craig stormed out, Erin sank onto the couch, shaking. You okay? I asked. She nodded slowly. You know what? I actually am. For the first time in weeks, I really am. Good, I said, sitting beside her. Because Karma's not done with Craig yet. Not even close. You have to see this. Alice burst into my office, waving her phone. Craig's company just posted on LinkedIn. I looked up from my work. Please tell me he got fired. Better. She perched on my desk, pulling up the post. Remember how you sent that anonymous tip about him using company resources for his personal activities? Maybe. Well, apparently that triggered an internal audit. They found everything. Personal emails, dating app messages, expense reports for dates he claimed were client meetings. I leaned back in my chair. How much did he steal? Enough to get the police involved. Alice's grin was wicked. But here's the best part. Rebecca worked in accounting. She's the one who helped them trace everything. Karma really is a beautiful thing. My phone buzzed. Erin calling. Have you seen it? She asked without preamble. Just hearing about it now. You okay? I'm great. Actually, she paused. Can you meet me for coffee? There's something I need to tell you. 20 minutes later, I found Erin at our usual cafe, practically bouncing in her seat. I got a call from the police this morning, she said as I sat down. They want to know if I have any evidence of Craig using our joint account for unauthorized purchases. Like the engagement ring he recycled? Exactly like that. She pulled out a folder. I've been gathering everything since we broke up. The ring receipts, the duplicate charges, the mysterious cash withdrawals. Look at you playing detective. I learned from the best. She smiled. You know, when I first found out about you and Craig, I thought you were trying to ruin my life. Now I realize you were trying to save me from ruining it myself. To be fair, I did enjoy watching him implode. We all did. She pushed a coffee toward me. But that's not why I called you here. I have something to show you. She pulled up her email on her phone and handed it to me. It was a group message to over a dozen women, all Craig's exes. I found them through that box of trophies, she explained. We've been talking, sharing stories. Turns out Craig's been running this same scam for years. The police want to talk to all of us. How many? 15 that we know of, and those are just the ones he was serious enough about to keep mementos from. My phone buzzed with a text from Seth. Craig just got arrested at work. It's all over social media. I showed Erin the message. She didn't look surprised. Rebecca sent me a video. He tried to run when the police showed up. Knocked over 3 cubicles before they caught him. Always did have a flair for the dramatic, I mused. There's something else. Erin took a deep breath. We're all meeting tonight. All of us. The exes. Some of these women lost everything to him. Homes, savings, careers. We're thinking about filing a class action lawsuit. Count me in. Really? Even after all this time? Especially after all this time. I pulled out my own phone. I've kept everything. Every message, every receipt, every lie. I just never had enough evidence on my own to do anything about it. But together we can bury him. The cafe door chimed and Alice walked in, followed by Rebecca. Seeing my surprise, Erin grinned. I hope you don't mind. I invited them. Thought we could start planning our strategy. Rebecca sat down, looking nothing like the woman from the garden party. I brought the company financial records, she said, patting her bag. Turns out being the other woman has its advantages. Craig trusted me with everything. And I brought wine, Alice added, producing a bottle from her purse, because this calls for a celebration. We can't drink here, I protested. Actually, we can. Aaron waved to the barista. I rented out the whole cafe for the afternoon. The others will be here soon. Others? Sarah's flying in from Chicago. Amanda's driving up from Portland. Even Katie's coming. The gym girl? I laughed. Craig must be having a meltdown. Oh, he is. Rebecca showed us her phone. Craig's desperate messages flooding her screen. He knows we're all talking. He just doesn't know what's coming next. To karma. Alice raised her coffee cup. To justice, Rebecca added. To sisterhood, Aaron said. I looked around at these women. Former rivals turned allies, victims turned warriors. To truth, I said finally. Because it always comes out in the end. The cafe door chimed again as more women began arriving, each carrying their own pieces of the puzzle that would finally bring Craig down. Sometimes revenge isn't about getting even. Sometimes it's about getting justice. And sometimes the best way to get justice is to let karma work through the very people who were hurt the most. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters as we made our way inside. 15 women, walking together, heads held high. Ready for this? Alice squeezed my hand. Born ready. I spotted Craig at the defense table, looking smaller somehow in his ill-fitting suit. His eyes widened as we filed in, one by one, filling 2 complete rows behind the prosecution. All rise, the bailiff called. The proceedings moved quickly. Each woman took her turn testifying, sharing stories that were painfully similar. The love bombing, the manipulation, the financial fraud. Craig's lawyer looked increasingly desperate as the evidence mounted. When it was my turn, I walked to the witness stand with steady steps. Ms. McBride, the prosecutor began. Please tell the court about the pattern you discovered. I looked directly at Craig as I spoke. Same restaurants, same gifts, same lies. He didn't just steal our money, he stole years of our lives, our trust, our ability to believe in love. And he did it systematically, meticulously, like it was his job. Objection, Craig's lawyer jumped up. Speculation about my client's motives. Overruled, the judge cut in. Continue, Ms. McBride. I held up my phone. I have here a spreadsheet. Every date, every gift, every lie. Documented and cross-referenced with 15 other women. The necklaces he bought us were identical, down to the price tag. The rings, too. He didn't even bother changing his stories, just recycled them like he recycled us. Craig's face had gone from pale to gray. He knew what was coming next. And then there's the money, I continued. Company funds diverted to personal accounts. Client meetings that were actually dates. Expense reports filled with gifts from multiple women, all charged to his employer. The evidence was damning. Rebecca's financial records, Sarah's bank statements, Amanda's photos, Katie's text messages. Piece by piece, we dismantled the facade Craig had built. During a break, Erin found me in the hallway. That was incredible, she said. Did you see his face when you pulled out the spreadsheet? I saw, but it's your testimony next and you've got the knockout punch. She patted her bag containing the trophy box. Everything he kept, every memory he collected, it's all evidence now. When court resumed, Erin's testimony was devastating. She laid out the contents of Craig's trophy box like pieces of a puzzle, showing how each item connected to a different woman, a different fraud, a different lie. The jury took less than 2 hours to reach their verdict. Guilty on all counts, the 4 women announced. The sentence came swiftly. 8 years in prison, full restitution to all victims, and a permanent ban from working in finance. As Craig was led away in handcuffs, he tried one last time. Natalia, please, you have to believe. Save it. I cut him off. Your stories don't work anymore. Outside, the 15 of us gathered on the courthouse steps. Reporters thrust microphones at us, asking for statements. What do you want to say to other women who might be in similar situations? One reporter asked. Erin stepped forward. Trust your instincts. And if you find yourself in this situation, don't stay silent. Find your voice. Find your strength. Find your sisters. Later that evening, we all gathered at my apartment. The mood was celebratory but contemplative. I can't believe it's really over, Sarah said, nursing a glass of wine. It's not over, Rebecca corrected. It's just beginning. We're starting a support network for women who've been through similar situations. Count me in, I said. Someone needs to help Karma do its job. Speaking of Karma, Alice pulled up her phone. Craig's arrest made the national news. His face is everywhere. No woman will date him again without Googling him first. Good, Erin said firmly. That's exactly what we wanted. Leonard arrived with pizza, looking proud. My sister, the Karma enforcer. More like Karma's assistant. I laughed. All I did was help the truth come out. The truth. Erin raised her glass. And the power of women supporting women. I looked around at these amazing women. No longer victims, but survivors, warriors, sisters. Each of us had walked into Craig's life alone, but we were walking out together, stronger than ever. To us, I proposed a toast. And to Karma, may she always find her mark. To Karma, they echoed. My phone buzzed one last time. A news alert about Craig's conviction. I smiled and put the phone away. Some stories don't need an epilogue. Sometimes justice itself is the perfect ending. The future stretched out before us, full of possibility and hope. Not because we got revenge, but because we got justice. And in the end, that was the sweetest victory of all.